In this section, we are going to learn how to search within a file. If you want to use the functionality, you have to go to Edit, Find, or hit Ctrl F as you can see here. In this window, you can type whatever you want, and it's going to be highlighted into the editor window. If it is selected, it's going to show up in a blue background, and if it's not selected, just with a yellow background. There are many options here. These ones allow you to go back and forward to the next or previous occurrence. So just this one forward, the other one backwards. This one allows you to search for this item into the whole project, but I don't think you are going to use it too often, because if you are here, it means you want to constrain the search scope to the current file. This one allows you to select and unselect several items of the search, and this one allows you to select all the items in the search and perform addition over them. So if I hit it, I will be able to edit them. If I press the right arrow button located close to the 0 button, I have unselected the term, so they won't be replaced or deleted. And I can write whatever I want. I can write whatever I want in here. And it will be written in all the places we have selected. Just hit enter if you want an enter. If you don't want it, just press escape. And that's all. The addition has been performed in all selections. I'm going to undo. Okay. So here it is a funnel we have already seen, where you can look for this string in comments, in string literals, or you can take those away from the search. These other options we have already seen, but just as a reminder, match case allows you to search taking into account the case. For example, if I select it, none of them will appear because the S here is uppercase and I'm looking for a lowercase. I can search for words. This is going to match because here there is a separator. It is the dot separator, and that's why it's matching. Well, that matches also, but if I search for VE, it's not going to match this word because it doesn't match exactly. There is a space here, and this word has to match exactly. If we take that away, it allows partial match. And the other option here is regular expressions, that you must know regular expressions in order to use it. For example, I'm looking for something that has VE into its name. And you can see here, well, that matches. Because I am looking for VE and everything else. I could be using VE and a space, for example. And it goes up to here. There are some little tricks I'm going to show you right now that makes this functionality even better. Instead of writing what we want to search, you just have to select what you want to search for and hit Ctrl F, and it's going to show up already into the search bar. But another trick is what happens if you want to search for a string that is split between two lines. For example, have a look at this sentence here. This is a very useful comment, but it is split into two lines. And here it is a string. This is a very useful comment, but it is in a single line. But let's see what happens if I search for it. This is a very useful. You can see that both of them match until this point. But if I go on, this matches, but this doesn't match. So how can we fix this? Well, if we have regex, regular expressions, enabled, and we know where the split could be, we could add this thing here. That means \n means new line in regular expressions. And what we are saying here is that we are expecting 0 or more spaces. And that's why it matches here, but because what it is happening here is that there is a new line and there are some spaces at the beginning of this line. That's why it wasn't matching before. But what has happened right now? This didn't match anymore. So what can we do in order to achieve that all of them match? If we place a question mark here, well, you can see that it is highlighted in yellow right now, so it's matching the regular expression. Because a question mark in regular expressions means optional. But the good point here is that with this expression, you can search for things that are split into different lines, and also look for those things that are not split. So both of them can appear in your search, as you can see here. Another useful thing to know about is how to start a search from a specific point. I mean, if I search for system, for example, I start in from here. But what happens if I want to search for system in here? So from the function main6 and beyond, well, I just have to place the cursor in here. So if I left click this point and place the cursor there, and now I search for system, the search is going to start from this point on. And not only that, what happens if I want to keep searching, but from this point on? So I have already found the keyword I was looking for, but that was a marker keyword, meaning that it started a block of something and I want to keep searching into that block. The normal behavior I would do is just deleting with the delete button in your keyboard the system string I have already written and search for the next keyword. For example, very long stack trace. So let's do that. Oh, what happened? So we have seen that if I do that, I just lose the context of the search and I jump back to the beginning of the file. And this is very annoying because I have already done a very huge effort in order to find the previous piece of text, and I have already lost it. Actually, if I look for something here, you can see I've lost the context because I am starting looking from the beginning of the file. I'm going to place myself in the place I was before and search for system. If I don't want to lose the context of the search, I have to hit this button here, this cross button. If I hit it, the context won't be lost. We are in the function main6, and if I search for very long stack trace, I keep the search from here. But not only that, I could go on and on. I mean, if I hit the cross and I search for dashes, I look for them from the previous search. And this is a very useful functionality. Another thing you would like to do is searching within a selection. I mean, this would be very useful because maybe you have a huge chunk of code and maybe you want to say, well, I want to look for something within these two paragraphs. So maybe you could be tempted to do something like this, and maybe you want to find this string, something different. And you start searching for it, and suddenly everything is lost. It jumps to another place, you don't know where you are. And that's very annoying. Maybe you made a typo and you just jump to another place. There is one match, but you're not sure where you are. Are you still in the selection? Because the selection disappeared. It's no longer there. So it's very confusing, as you can see. Well, what is the catch here? It's that this functionality, searching into a selection, it is not available from this option here. If you want to actually use that functionality, you have to go to the replace functionality. So, if we go to edit, find, replace, or hit Ctrl R, as you can see here, another menu is going to show up. And as you can see here, there is this option in selection. We are not going to explain all the options in here because it is not the purpose of this lecture. We are going to use this in order to search, but we are not going to use the replace functionality. So I just select where I want to search for things, mark in selection, and when I search the same thing I was searching before, it says I don't find anything. But the selection is kept. I mean, it doesn't disappear and it doesn't jump and I don't lose the context. And I clearly see that there is nothing there. So I can see that I made a typo here. And if I search for something, well, it's very difficult to see because they didn't highlight it properly. But I can see there is one match. And if I pay attention, I can see a border of the rectangle in here in black. That could be improved, but it is a very useful functionality when you want to search things in huge files, and it's not very easy to see where you are. Well, the last thing we are going to see, and it is a kind of related because it uses the same kind of controls, is searching into the console. Well, if you want to search into the console, it is this window in here. We are going to use this class as an example. We can run it by right-clicking over it, run. It's going to build, and this output is going to show up in here. So in here, we can do the same thing. Hit Ctrl F, and this bar is going to show up, as I told you before, with the same functionality. And you can search in the same way into the console output. You can search back and forth, and so on.